Hey guys, today I'm going to teach you how to maximize your Calcharo's damage by building him correctly. Starting with the weapon, you've got two choices for max damage. Verdant Summit, which is Jian's signature 5-star weapon, or Lustrous Razor, which is a standard 5-star broadblade. I pulled for Jian's weapon because of its main stat. Crit damage is a more valuable stat to Calcharo than attack is. That being said, Lustrous Razor gives energy regen, which is something Calcharo needs a lot of, so either weapon is at about the same level of value. As for the build, there is no freedom of choice. 5-piece Electro set is best for him. The Lingering Tunes attack-based set is awesome, but not better than the Electro set. The only situation where the attack-based set is better is when you do not switch out Calcharo for the entire fight, which is not gonna happen in most fights. The ideal Echo setup is 4-3-3-1-1, and you want crit rate for sure on your 4, electro damage on your 3s, and attack on your 1s. You can do attack for one of the 3s, but only if it's your only option. For the primary Echo's activatable effect, you have a couple of options and it comes down to discretion. I run the Flautist, a class 3 Echo as my main, because it gives me damage as well as concerto energy. I'll explain why that is so important in the combo section. Ideal substats for Calcharo are the crits. Crit rate is more important than crit damage because all characters have base stats of 5% crit rate and 150% crit damage. There is no 5-star broadblade with crit rate main stat in the game right now, so this all makes crit rate a little harder to get on your builds. Besides the crits, in second place for substats, there's Resonance Damage Boost, Heavy, and Basic Attack Damage Boost. Third place is Attack Percentage, Skill Damage Boost, and Flat Attack. The worst of the worst are definitely defense and HP related stat boosts. His talents are pretty straightforward. There's only one right way to max his damage out. This is a level of priority for leveling up his talents. It goes Forte Circuit, Ulti, Skill, Intro Skill, Basic Attack. Also, make sure to unlock this talent for him because it gives him extra damage for literally just having it. The other one is up to you how soon you want to unlock it, if ever, because it only increases his survivability, which, skill issue. I don't recommend you pull for multiple copies of him, but just to let you know, his best power spikes come from his S3, S4 if ran with an Electro sub DPS, aka Yunlin, and S6. Now for the optimal combos, the bread and butter combo you should master is Basic Attack 1, Skill 1, Basic Attack 2, Skill 2, Basic Attack 3, Basic Attack 4, Skill 3, Heavy Attack. Why should you do 2 basic attacks back to back? Because you can actually animation cancel Basic Attack 4 with the 3rd skill. Try to cancel as many animations as possible while ensuring that the damage still goes through. You won't get this combo every single time. Sometimes you'll have to adapt, switch up the combo, like starting with Skill 1 instead of Basic Attack 1, and hopefully you'll still be able to finish that combo off with his amped up Heavy Attack. Speaking on his Heavy Attack, you can swap characters while he's performing his Heavy Attack, which you should do all the time. You have to make sure that after inputting the Heavy Attack, he starts his Heavy Attack animation, because if you swap him out too early, his stacks will be used up and you will not get the damage for it. It's a matter of practice. I still cancel it sometimes on accident. Calcharo's damage mainly comes from his Resonance Liberation, aka his ultimate ability. This is where the Flautist Echo ability comes in. Since it gives you concerto energy, you are able to have his ulti up faster, which in turn affects how much damage you can output in a given time frame. I know this is a lot of info, especially if you didn't know most of these things, so hey, congrats on reaching this point. There's not really much left to go through. Calcharo's ultimate is pretty simple. Just never ever use Basic Attack 4 or Basic Attack 5. Instead, do the first 3 basic attacks, and then do Skill 1 to start over with Basic Attack 1 and Basic Attack 2, and that'll give you the 5 stacks you need for the Heavy Attack. Then you repeat the same thing, but with Skill 2 for the second Heavy Attack. Either that, or just Basic Attack spam. It's totally your call. Under ideal circumstances, you should be able to get 3 heavy attacks from his ultimate. Sometimes, if you have to dodge, miss your attacks, or get hit, you won't be able to get those 3 heavy attacks, so don't rely on getting them. Try to at least go for 2 of them every time you use his ulti. For this last part, I'll cover how to efficiently parry. Some of Calcharo's moves or abilities have a multi-hit mechanic, and those hitboxes are active even when Calcharo's attack animation is over. The idea that I'm trying to get at is that it is possible to parry an attack and still have the time to activate the dodge mechanic. So you'll be able to parry and do the dodge counter attack at the same time. You have to be very careful when using his dodge counter attack because it can mess up your combos. Ideally, you would fit it in before you start your bread and butter combo or after skill 3, but before your heavy attack. And then the same thing goes for the Flautist Echo effect. If you're using Thundering or Tempest Amethyst echoes in your first slot, you should activate them right after Calcharo takes the field and before he does anything, because they increase electro damage and heavy attack damage or ultimate damage respectively. For teams, it's very straightforward. In the pre-Yinlin era that we live in, you should do Mortifi for sub DPS and Verena for support. If those aren't available to you, good option is Yanshin as either sub DPS or support, and Baizi for support. Sunhua is another good sub DPS option because of her quick rotation. She can do her damage and still give the on-field time Calcharo wants. Post-Yinlin era, obviously, she is going to be Calcharo's best in slot sub DPS, there is no doubt about that. For support, you should do Verena. If you don't have her, you could do Yanshin. If you don't have Yanshin, you could totally do Baizi. Yeah, I hope you've learned something. Anyways, I'm out of here.